Gay, 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 talk, live. That's right, Gay Talk Live every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific Time, that's minus 8 GMT. On with the show. Goodness gracious. Hey, everybody, this is Tom. You are listening, of course. How many times did he say it there in the beginning? QueerPublicRadio.com and GayTalkRadio.org. We have with us today Andy from all the way over, almost on the other side of the world in Germany. Andy's coming to us from Germany. We're going to talk about paragraph 175, homosexuality, a little bit about the Holocaust. For those of you that saw the announcement, Andy is a gentleman that wrote his college paper thesis on these topics. So we're gonna enjoy talking to this young man and hearing his views, and maybe even a little bit about what's going on in Germany these days. And we'll get the perspective from a young man, and perhaps even later, if he lets us, you'll be able to call in and talk with him yourself. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Tom. Hi.
Oh, how you doing today?
Well, I'm very fine. Well,
I guess this evening for you, it's nighttime.
Yeah,
there.
It's evening. Yeah. But I'm awake, and yeah, I hope we get some people listening and asking questions, and yeah, let us inform a little bit about the paragraph and history of a lot of gays.
The podcast is always there. It's not. Sometimes we don't get a whole lot of live listeners, especially, this right now. It's people might be doing things. It's a weekend over.
Yeah, the internet never forgets. So hopefully some people will listen to it. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. The podcast will be available for 24/7 after the show. So,
yeah.
But you never know. You never know. I'm in the chat room on QueerPublicRadio.com. If anyone wants to interact with our show today, or has any questions about homosexuals, the Holocaust, paragraph 175, we'll definitely try to step up to the plate and help you out. Andy is here to share with us his explanation, and I would think, since Andy is German and has been for his entire life, that he probably got a pretty good handle on this stuff.
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah.
So Andy, how's just before we get into all this? I understand, now that you're out of college, recent graduate, and everything, you're trying to get gainfully employed now.
Yeah.
So how's that going?
Yeah, I'm just like in the middle. Things will are not easy at the moment. I'm trying to find a job, and there are some possibilities left. And as far as I'm planning for now is that I'll write a doctoral thesis, also concerning gay history, and yeah, that's my plan for the future. Yeah.
So you still have some more school. Then more school still.
Yeah, yes, some more school and some more research, because unfortunately there is not that much German literature or scientific literature on homosexuality, besides AIDS and violence and topics like that, just about gay life. And so I try to help out and do some research on it.
So why is it was so much of it destroyed during Hitler's time? Is that why there's not much documentation?
Well, in fact, that's one reason. You don't have a lot of sources because a lot was burned when Allied forces occupied Germany. The Nazi tried to get rid of all the evidences. And the second problem is that gay people who were eyewitnesses and could tell their stories were not able to tell it, because also after the Second World War, when everything was over, homosexuality was still in the criminal law, so you could still be put in jail for being homosexuality. And that lasted a long time. So people who were gay or lesbians feared to get problems if they spoke about their experiences during the Second World War. So that's a disadvantage for research also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I know the people that saw the movie, the paragraph 175. I mean, all of who was that? Magnus Hirschfeld was.
Yeah, Magnus Hirschfeld.
All
Well, he
his
was
whole library was burned, right?
this whole library, and he was in fact he was lucky. At this time, he was on vacation in France, and he got sick, and so that's why he had to stay in France. And the Nazis, when they destroyed his institute, his research institute, and burned his book, they also wanted to kill him. But he was not there, fortunately, because he was still in France, and so he never came back to Germany and died in France. He was in exile. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Until the Kinsey report in the U.S. states, Magnus Hirschfeld was the most important researcher dealing with homosexuality, because he did. He had his research institute. He cared for gay people who were blackmailed. He worked together with political parties because he wanted, or his institute wanted to repeal the paragraph 175. Unfortunately, he didn't get to this goal because Nazis came to power. But yeah, he was very, very close.
Yeah, because I was kind of shocked. The poor guy. I mean, no wonder he got out of it. I mean, they said in the movie he was Jewish and he was gay. You know?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And he trying to get paragraph 175 repealed and removed. And, I would think that he would be like the number one target.
Yeah, he was, in fact, yeah.
Oh,
because,
wow.
Before Nazis came to power, they had, I don't know, years and years of work to influence political parties in the German parliament. And there was a commission who discussed whether it should be removed out of the criminal law, and this commission came to mind that it should be put out of the criminal law, and they wanted it rediscussed in the parliament. But it was 10 years of discussion and pro and contra and stuff like that, and then they were very close to make it legal, and then Nazis came to power, and things got worse.
You know what I thought was interesting? I didn't even notice this till last night. I was watching the paragraph 175 documentary movie for the third time this week, and I didn't even notice, that right after Hitler became chancellor, they had that legislative building burned down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very important moment in German history, because it's kind of a myth, because it burned, and Hitler said that the communists had attacked the parliament building, and he enforced his power. He had like a new law system that allowed him to do things without the parliament, decision of parliament, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
it
so
almost gave him like powers of a wartime president powers. Like the same thing.
Yeah, that's it. And he said it's the communists who burned it. Some communists said that's the gays, because communists used homosexuality to discredit the Nazi party. They tried to use it against them.
Right.
And so they said, it must have been some gays out of the party and stuff like that. And so it's an important moment, but also very unclear and very misused for the goals of the Nazi party.
Yeah, it almost, when I saw that, I draw a correlation, a parallel to 9/11 here in the United States.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be right. There are some parallels because when the American society was under shock because of 9/11, it was, I think, from my point of view, easier to well to reform the law, all the things Bush changed and which touched the personal liberty of every U.S. citizen.
Exactly.
I'm not a professional of U.S. law, but I think there were some changes who were only possible because the whole society was shocked and under
Yeah,
fright.
but it sounds like the same thing that happened with Hitler. I mean,
Yes, yeah,
it's
there's some,
almost
yeah,
exactly the same thing. I mean, they gave him all these powers after that because it was as if they were at war now, and
yeah,
had all these absolute powers, and that's why he was able to take over the way he did.
yeah.
The way it sounds, anyway. I, I don't know, but that's the way it sounds to me. That I don't know. A lot of people in the United States claim that the 9/11 thing was a conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
People, and that's what I think about over there too. With that, I wouldn't be surprised. Has anyone ever said that? That maybe Hitler was involved in the burning down of that building so that he could.
Yeah, there are a lot of theories and also theories who said that this might have been a conspiracy and that it was used to make him more powerful and yeah.
Oh, they have. Okay, so I'm not
Yeah,
way off base then. Okay, good. you know. So
yeah,
sometimes I am, but I just well, that's good to hear. I'm not the only one that thinks that because I freaked out when I saw that. I really hasn't I kind of glossed over that part about because you get so into when you watch that movie, you get so into the personal lives of the people, because
yeah,
that's what it's all about, and you kind of missed all those. So it's like this is probably the 10th time I've watched it last night, over the years and years that I've had it, and it was when I saw that and I made that connection in my brain, I was like, oh my God. you know, it sounds. Did Bush take a lesson, learned a lesson from Hitler? Maybe. you
yeah.
know.
Just think of the McCarthy era when McCarthy said that gays in the State Department are a threat to the nation. It's they create an atmosphere of fear. They say, well, communists are, I don't know, attacking the U.S.
hmm
and that gays are like the means of influence and stuff, and that they are a threat. So it's always on my that's my opinion. It's always very very dangerous if fear leads to politics. If fear is the atmosphere in which laws are changed or society is influenced.
Yeah, well, that comes out of religion too, not just
Yeah, and
politics.
yeah, and you see that in the movie too. The lesbian woman who explains her memories. She talks about the situation that there was a lot of there was the inflation. There people couldn't find work, and that's the situation when Hitler used this atmosphere of this is despair and stuff. When he took power, it was, I think, a very very important part that people were without hope because they lost this First World War. There was very very tough economical times. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because it was a depression, right? Right before
yeah.
the.
There was the depression. People were poor. Yeah.
I thought so. And that was just before they were in a depression. Germany was in a depression right before
Yeah.
Hitler took over. Is that what the timing was on that?
Yeah, and Hitler said that's only because we lost the First World War and because French and other enemies from the First World War they had to pay reparations. I don't know if that's the exact English word. Germany had to pay the old enemies because they lost. Well, they damaged the other countries. So Germany had to pay them and give them resources and stuff like that. And Hitler said, well, we're suffering because they get all our monies, all our charcoal and stuff like that, and steel. Yeah. And he used this situation of fear and of poverty to get to power.
Yeah, because he was actually voted in as chancellor, right? Initially.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, because that was when that what was it, Weimar
Yeah.
Republic?
Weimar, yeah. Weimar is a city in Germany, and it's called the Weimar Republic because it was in Weimar when they founded the first German democracy. Yeah.
Okay, so all the people actually voted Hitler into power as the chancellor, right?
Yeah, he was voted in, and then he changed the law, and his party became the only legal party. So all the following elections were, well, it was not a real election because he had no alternative to the Nazi party. But the first elections he was like, yeah, voted in.
Yeah, because that's when he was making all the promises about how he was going to make
Yeah,
everything better for
how
everybody.
you work and yeah.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
because I remember even the lesbian that spoke on the movie said that, all these promises, 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 and they
Yeah.
believed him.
Yeah. In fact, that was the case. Yeah.
That's very sad, but that's the way I think politicians are. There's a lot. They say everything. Okay, so we got Hitler in power, and then mysteriously, I mean, was anybody ever did anyone ever get prosecuted for burning down the what was that building? The legislative building.
Yeah, it was the Scientific Humanitarian Committee. That was the Magnus Hirschfeld's association, and they had this Institute for Sexual Research. And as far as I know, there was no lawsuit or stuff like that because, as I explained, homosexuality was still a crime when the war ended, and they kept the Nazi paragraph, which is a very important exception because all law paragraphs who were changed during the Second World War had to be rechanged after the World War because when American forces occupied Germany, they said, well, you have to take off all the paragraphs of your criminal law which were exacerbated, and the paragraph 175 was the one and only paragraph who stayed as the Nazis changed him. And so homosexuals were still criminals, so they were excluded from all these social, I explain the social things that happened, that they were included in receiving money and stuff like that. And it was till the late 90s that it was rediscussed, and when they took off the paragraph in the late 90s, I will explain it later on, they said all the lawsuits concerning the paragraph have to be individually revisited and researched, and then in the new millennium, when the German Parliament decided to build up a monument for the gays who died during the World War, then they said, well, no, every gay person who was sentenced under this paragraph is how to explain, I don't find a word, excuse me, he's now illegal. They said the the lawsuit from the history is not, you cannot take it as granted today. So it's like a half a century after the Second World War.
Yeah, even to this. Well, we're gonna discuss that later. I don't want to get ahead, so we'll get to that in a little while. Okay, so let's see. Did you get my email about some of the? I did a little research this last week, and I was very sad. It was very sad. I had two very sad days after I discovered that everybody, I think, except for Gad Beck in the movie Paragraph 175, it appears is now deceased.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were old. Just imagine they were in their some men were 93.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know the exact date when the movie was made, but yeah.
2001, I think.
Yeah, 2001. You see, that's 10 years.
Right.
They must have been 100 now. So yeah.
Yeah. Very sad. I don't know. For some reason, I was blocking that out, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, it made tears come to my eyes.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Because they're dying, and you don't get the chance to talk to them. Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm so glad the movie was made, because I just think, oh, how terrible that would have been if those stories would have never been told.
Yeah. And the thing is also the early gay movement in Germany after the Second World War. It was mostly young men who were influenced by the students' protests in Germany, and they were very skeptical with old people because they wanted to. They were skeptical because their parents were involved in the war and stuff like that, and so that's why also old gay people were excluded in a way from the gay movement, because they said, well, you're the old ones, you didn't do anything, we are the young ones, we'll change society now, we'll get rid of all the sad history, and so that's why also the young gays didn't or were not interested in the experiences of the gays who have been in the concentration camps and stuff like that.
That's and that's, I think that issue has become, except for you are the wonderful exception to that rule. That people, it seems like so many in the younger generation don't care about anything from the other generations.
Yeah. Well, I'm 28 now, and my new research topic will deal with the gay movement after the Second World War. And just imagine, people in the late or the early 70s, they were like 20 when they went to university, and now it's 40 years after, they're 60 years old. So they're in a few years they'll die, and we'll lose the chance and possibility to get information from their point of view, from their lives, what they experienced.
Yeah, so now it's their turn for the younger generation to tell them we don't care what you have to say.
In fact, that's something very precious what you lose if you don't talk to them.
Exactly. I always say, because someone famous said it, that if you don't study history, then you're going to repeat it, and sometimes that's not good.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the thing, and I don't want to offend Germans, because to me Nazis is one thing, Germans is a whole nother thing. It's two different things. Nazis were terrible, but that doesn't mean all Germans were terrible. That was just a subgroup.
Yeah, there's one very, very important situation in the movie when the woman says that don't think that every German was mean, because she tells a story when she was in prison, and the policeman's wife let the door open on purpose so that they can get away. So that's the thing. I think it's a lot of people will have fear, and they were not Nazis in their mind. They didn't share the ideology, but they had fear, and so they did nothing. But on the other hand, there have been a lot of people who were in the resistance, or who helped Jewish people, who hid Jewish people and stuff like that. But that's not portrayed very often. Perhaps some Americans know Anne Frank and stuff like that. Young people who were organized to fight against Nazis and lost their life doing that.
Right. But
Yeah.
for the most part, any men, I mean, they even had the Nazi youth, right? So basically any male that could fight was in the military, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, if you were young, well, you can easily influence youngsters and kids and children. But if you were a father or mother of I don't know, a 10-year-old, and you didn't send them to Nazi youth, you were suspicious. Why didn't you send him to the Nazi youth? So you did it. Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and the thing is, the Nazis tried to influence the whole society. So they influenced all the different levels of society. Well, they showed in the movie, they showed the pictures from the Boy Scouts. So Boy Scouts, they forbid that because it would have been another possibility to spend your spare time. So they said no. It's forbidden, so you have to go to the Hitler Youth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Boy Scouts would have been like a rival or competitor, and so they said no, it's forbidden. Or religion and stuff like that, who could implement another ideology, so it was forbidden.
Oh, really? Even the religions were
Yeah, because it was not forbidden that strictly, but they try to reduce religion's influence to people. For example, it sounds very, very weird, but words who were religious, for example, like angel, stuff like that, religious figures, they invented new words for it, so that if you influence a language, you also influences the mind. So if you invent new words, you can change people's minds. So if you don't speak of angels and use another word, you have control of what people think, or they try to get control over it. So they, in a way, they were very smart doing that. They changed like the school system. They changed all the associations and stuff like that. So they tried to get control over the whole society.
well, just the hateful speech that the talk, just what I call hate speech nowadays. When you even when we have like preachers in the churches saying that homosexuality is an abomination, God detests homosexuals, and all this hate speech coming out, and then someone goes out and kills a homosexual, and it kind of reminded me of that Gad Beck when he spoke in the movie, because he was the youngest, I think, of all of them. So because he was in school. He was in school at that time, and he remembers that before Hitler, when he tells the story in the movie, I thought this was really, really, really very poignant in the movie, where he stated that before Hitler, everything was fine, everyone was friends, everybody got along, and then when Hitler got in, because this guy was a gay Jewish youngster himself, and when Hitler came in and started bad-mouthing and making all this hate speech, all of a sudden, he said within 2 months, I think he said maybe within 4 months after Hitler took power, he was sitting on the front row in the classroom all by himself, that no other student would even sit near him.
Yeah, and that's what I said, because they had like the Hitler Youth. They could influence all the young children, and young children, if you tell them something, they'll repeat it.
Right.
If you say them Jews are stupid, Jews stink, Jews are criminals, well, small boys don't think that's not true. If you tell them so, they'll do like God explained. saying that he stinks of garlic because he's a Jew and Jews eat garlic, and God didn't even know what garlic is.
Yeah, right. He never ate it in his life.
So that's why it's important to teach, to teach children and youngsters, the true facts and history, so that when they're grown-ups, that they can be responsible members of society. So if you influence them in young ages and tell them the Nazi ideology, well, they'll believe in it.
Yeah, I wonder, that I bet you it took a long time, even after the war was over and everything else, for that, for that mindset to clear,
Yeah, because the situation was when the Allied forces occupied Germany, they started immediately to teach society, to tell them all the things that happened which they didn't even know, or which they or avoided seeing, and they try to get rid of all the Nazi ideology, and but so in the German society there has been a lot of discussion about anti-Semitism and stuff like that, but talking about homosexuals was excluded from this social discussion or dialogue. So that's why homosexuals had a very, very difficult situation to live in, and that took a lot of time. And only in the last, I don't know, last 10, 20 years it started, and so that all society was interested. There was the movement in the 70s, and a lot of like the Christopher Street Days. We have them also in Germany, the Gay Pride and stuff like that. But well, the deep social discussion started a couple of years ago, I think.
Well, and that's another point, that I discussed with you in email and before the show, that I find it kind of ironic that supposedly Hitler, that cleansed Germany and wanted to cleanse the world of, anyone that wasn't Aryan. But, he started in Germany, obviously, and you would think, since he moved on to other countries and, later, that he obviously thought his job was accomplished in Germany, and so I find it odd that because you told me you worked in a gay bar, and that there's lots of gays, that the bars are happy and people are happy, and I'm thinking if this man was so good at his job and eradicated homosexuality in Germany, I'm surprised that there's so many of them now.
That's the thing. You don't have to misunderstand it. Like I explained, it's very, very difficult to find sources for scientific research. There is an amount of estimated 5,000 to 15,000 gays who have been killed in concentration camps. And there have been a lot of homosexuals left who were, I don't know, who hide or who were just not arrested. And also after the Second World War, there have been a lot of homosexuals. You don't know how many of them, and that's fine. But because they had to hide or still had to hide, the situation was not that easy.
Yeah, I mean, even in the movie it tells us some of the homosexual men and the lesbians got married, in order to try to hide the fact. So I mean, there was no way. You and I both know, and anyone that's common sense knows, that there's no way he could ever get rid of them. And even if he did, there's going to be more born. I mean, there's no way to stop that. We
Yeah,
are, as I have always told people, homosexuality is naturally occurring. We are created by heterosexuals. There's nothing that will ever stop that. You know, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Perhaps those who listen from the US, they won't know a lot of Germany and how society is in Germany. And yeah, nowadays it's I think very liberal compared to the States. For example, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, he's an openly gay man. He's our Vice Chancellor, and he's gay. The Mayor of Berlin, he's gay. And well, I was an openly gay student at university. All my professors knew that I was gay, and that I had never been into trouble because of that. We have like civil partnership in Germany, so you can marry your husband, and it's not it's not the same as like heterosexual marriage, but it's kind of the same. There's some differences, but yeah, it's possible. So
that's for the whole country.
yeah, that's for the whole country. In the whole of Germany, you can marry your yeah the
Wow.
partner, and so you get health insurance benefits. If you I don't know if you have an accident and you're brought to emergency, then your partner can get all the information because yeah you like a heterosexual married couple. Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I didn't realize that all of Germany was like that.
yeah, that's all. Yeah. It's the law was installed 2001, and yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Well, I guess that's because Germany's part of the European Union, right?
yeah, and, yeah.
Okay.
Also, that influenced the law. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure because I mean it doesn't. I mean, don't all the countries that are part of the European Union have that?
Yeah, as far as I know, yes.
Okay.
There's some differences because, well, adoption rights and stuff like that. And for example, Denmark and the Netherlands had those civil partnerships earlier than Germany. But you can say around the year 2000 and the new millennium, most of the European countries changed the law. Well, it depended it depended on who had the power. For example, in some countries there were more conservative parties, but after the next elections, the social democratic parties got yeah the power. So, but now I think most Western European countries are very yeah
Yeah,
liberal.
more
Yeah.
liberal than the United States even.
Yeah, yeah, you do have like perhaps bullying in German schools, and it's the same like in English when you say something is gay if you mean it's stupid, and yeah, and so young people in Germany also say that's gay if I don't know a movie was bad, and I said, well, the movie was gay, but I think it's not that. The situation is not as bad as I got to know this year when I heard of the It Gets Better project and stuff like that. That young people committed suicide because they were bullied to death.
Right,
In
right.
fact.
Now,
Hmm.
what about when you went to what I guess in your terms it's secondary school, right? It's kind of like high school over here.
Yes, it's kind of like high school. I went there till I was 19 years old,
Did they teach?
and
Did you learn about homosexuals in the Holocaust there?
in fact, it's a little bit embarrassing, but I don't have a lot of memories. Because in Germany, you can't get away from history. So every single pupil will be taught about the Holocaust, about the Second World War, and you do it every single year in history. So I don't,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, I don't remember all. If we learned about homosexuals in the Holocaust, because it was during the 90s, and I think so. But perhaps only a side note. And I asked a friend of mine who's a teacher now, and she said, yeah, that's a part of uh,
Oh,
of
good. Of the
of the books
curriculum.
that they
Yeah.
teach that not only Jews. Well, we learned that not only Jews, also communists and Well, disabled people, Sinti and Roma were persecuted and killed, but Jewish people were like they, um, well, were the main, um, yeah, the main group who suffered.
Right.
But
The
I
largest
think
numbers.
yeah, they also say that homosexuals suffered under Nazi regime.
Oh yeah, and you know one thing that also that I kind of missed on the movie the first few times I watched it, and is that kind of passed my mind that really stood out for me these last couple of times I watched it this week was the fact that not only were the homosexuals persecuted outside of the prison camps and the concentration camps and the death camps, whatever you want to call them, but even inside, once they were arrested, the other prisoners persecuted
Yeah.
the homosexuals.
Yeah, because um, the badge, all prisoners had to wear the badge, and it was explained in the movie too. They had different colors to make clear why they were arrested in the concentration camps, and
Hmm.
um, the, the the gay people had this pink triangle, and the triangle was larger than all the other badges compared to the other badges. And because homosexuals said that, no, excuse me, Nazi people, the Nazis said that homosexuality is contagious. They were
Oh, really?
like, yeah, they said, well, if you're a gay guy and you speak to a straight youngster or a straight man, you can make him gay. So they were like excluded in the camp. They were not allowed to talk to other prisoners, so they could not implement like yes, like inmate solidarity, stuff like that. They had no chances, and they were not allowed to approach the other barracks. And yeah, they were, and all well, the other inmates were also people from society. So at this time, a lot of people thought that homosexuals are like yeah, like scum. So they were on the bottom of the camp's hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really terrible. The stories that one, I think he was a Frenchman, the guy that didn't have any teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was French. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's Seal. I think was his last name.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
his last name is a German name. It's because he lives in an area which has been during the ages and during history, one time Germany, one time France. Is very changing history. So it's called Alsace, and he's from this area, so he speaks German and French, and he tells well his horrible experiences he had to make in concentration camps.
Yeah, because he talking about the camp, what Sheermere, the camp Sheermere.
Yeah.
Uh, I know I'm saying it wrong, but isn't that the same camp that Klaus visited? Is that this?
Yeah, that's the same. It's called Shimek,
Oh,
and
Shemek. Okay.
yeah, and it's the camp he visited, who was after the Second World War transformed into like a living area. Some buildings were tore down, and others were like changed. And there is this French lady in the ending of the movie, and she says that well, in fact, where she is living now was the concentration camp during the Second World War.
Yeah, that was quite interesting, and I mean, she even had a little like she was like almost like a tourist guide because she had documentation and pictures and everything.
Yeah, yeah, she had like this all this information stuff to tell the story and yeah, show the sketches of the old buildings and yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool,
yeah,
because she was kind of like a little tour guide, a little, like she was like the person that knew everything about the place, which
yeah,
that seemed very interesting, that they would have someone living there that, I mean, because you think here she is living here, most people would say, "This is my house. I don't know nothing. Go away." I
yeah.
mean, but no, she was like almost like she was like the proprietor of the property. Like she was like the representative for it.
Yeah, you don't know the information is not given in the movie, but perhaps she is like a chairman of a association to keep all the informations alive, and you don't know. Perhaps she is like
Oh yeah,
something like
right.
that. She lives there, and she wants to, and that there's a neighborhood whose goal is to keep history alive and provide information to those who visit this camp. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it was all. I mean, it's like her place was there at the front. It was almost like it was like like the
Yeah.
office, like the front office. So that was very interesting. Let's see here. So right now,
Yeah.
I mean, if I jump ahead too quick, that let me know. We can jump around. We don't have to go in order, but
Yeah.
it's all up to you. But I mean, because I'm kind of confused. Right now, it's still what this paragraph 175 is like totally off the books now,
Yeah,
or
I think I'll give a short summary of the history of the
okay,
paragraph, and
all right, let's do that.
yeah, and in fact, it's a history of 200 years concerning this one paragraph. And to understand the situation, you have to know like two details, because Germany has not always been Germany like we know it today. Um, it's in the heart of West Europe, and all the countries around Germany have been nations um, very early, and in the late 18th century, like France has still been a nation, one nation. I don't know the other neighbors like the Great Britain, but Germany consisted of 39 different small countries like Prussia, the Kingdom of Bavaria, and so on and so on. And every single country had his own criminal law, his own currency, his metric system. And it was 1871 when, under the influence of Prussia and under the lead of Prussia, the German Empire was made up. And the thing is that before this happened, there has been homosexuality in the law books for hundreds of years. Because if you think of old Greek and Roman ages, it depended on who had the power. If the emperor was gay or had gay sex and orgies and stuff like that, it was allowed for the people too. For example, in the Roman Empire, if you had sex with your gay slave, it was okay because it's a slave and you can do with him whatever you want. But if you have sex with a Roman boy, it could be a crime. So it's very difficult, and things got worse. And I have to say that when Christianity influenced criminal law. So when the first Roman emperors were baptized as Christians, they created a law which put homosexual acts under death penalty. And during the ages there were a lot of changes and stuff like that, but as long as religion influenced profane law, homosexual was not only a sin but also a crime. And it was till the Enlightenment when religion was removed from the influence to law was reduced. Then it was 1810 when Napoleon in France was the first who removed homosexuality out of the criminal law. And then he conquered Europe, and those countries who were conquered, like for example the Kingdom of Bavaria I spoke of, they had to adapt the French law. And so in 1813 homosexuality was made legal, or they reduced the degree of penalty. And in some German nations or some German countries, homosexuality was then legal, or it as I said, the degree of penalty was very low. Only in Prussia, where they had a conservative parliament, homosexuality was still a crime. And unfortunately, it was under Prussia that the German Empire was founded, where all those countries were unified. And so they installed their law into all the areas which were before very gay-friendly, to say that.
Okay.
And there was a lot of seesawing if it should be legalized or not, and that's what the movie explains. What Hirschfeld did, he tried to change the law, and he was very close to do that, because in the late 20s, or I have to explain, and there was the First World War, 1914 to 18, and that's the end of the German Empire, because the emperor had to leave the country, and the first democracy was founded. That's the Weimar Republic, what they explain in the movie. And with the democratic rights of freedom of speech and all the other privileges came the golden era of gay people, because they were able to found associations, they were able to create gay newspapers, they had meetings, they had like balls and a gay culture. There was still the paragraph, but it was hardly ever used. There were like 500 court procedures a year, and well, that changed a lot when Hitler came to power.
Wow, I didn't realize there was that many. That's still a lot, 500 a year.
Yeah, that's still a lot, but if you think of the whole of the population
Right.
it was not that much. And Hirschfeld worked together with political parties in Germany, and he founded the Scientific Humanitarian Community and the Institute for Sexual Research, and he spoke to political parties and tried to repeal the paragraph. And they had a commission to the German Parliament who discussed whether to repeal it or not, and they came to conclusion that they had to make the Parliament decide, but they said, well, you should take it out of the criminal law. And they just before they could discuss that, Hitler came to power and exacerbated the paragraph. And as I explained, after the war, it was the only paragraph who stayed as it was, changed during Nazi regime. And I don't know if people in the US know that, because Germany was divided into two parts after the Second World War. There was Western Germany, the German Republic, which was under control of the Allied forces, occupied by America, the United States, France, and Great Britain. And it was East Germany, the GDR, German Democratic Republic, who was occupied by Soviet Union. And West Germany kept the Nazi paragraph till the year 1969, well, the late 60s. Then they didn't repeal it. It was still in the books, but they reduced the age. They said, well, if you're over 18 years old and have sex with another man under the age of 21, you can be punished. And they reformed it again in the early 70s and reduced it to the age of 18. And it was the same for heterosexual people. So in fact, it was it had no effect, because it was, if you were I don't know, a heterosexual man and you had sex with a woman under the age of 18, you had committed a crime. And that was the same now for homosexual people. So in fact, they were equal, but there was still a separate paragraph in the books. But on the other hand, in East Germany, they were like, it was a communist country, and so they were a lot more against the old Nazi-influenced paragraph, and they had completely taken it off the criminal law. And when Germany unified again, when the Berlin Wall came down and stuff like that, it was because of the East German law that the paragraph was taken off the criminal law in Germany. So it was 1994 when the paragraph 175 was repealed, and so that's about 200 years of paragraph 175.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I thought, because I remember when we initially talked about this last week to schedule this show, and I was thinking, that it was changed 2 times during Hitler's reign, when it actually was only changed 1 time in the very beginning. But in other words, they were killing these people without I thought the paragraph had been changed to allow the castration, to allow the killing. In other words, instead of just imprisonment, that it actually was written in the paragraph that it was a death sentence for being homosexual. And it seems that I misread that or misthought that never was in there. And did you see the link that I actually found, the letter from Himmler about the castration letter?
Yeah, I saw that, and you have to know that they differ between SS and in like normal German people. So because if you were in the SS and you were gay, or somebody said you were gay, you could be shot, because they try to get rid of the gays in their stormtroops, and you were shot or sent to. I found some sources where they said, well, if you were gay, you were sent to very dangerous areas. Well, during the war, you were sent to somewhere where it was very likable that you'll die the next day, because they were fighting and stuff like that.
Right, like the front lines.
Yeah, like the front lines. You were sent to the worst front lines, the most dangerous front lines.
Right.
Yeah.
But what was basically after I reread this, because I was trying to find out, am I wrong on this? It wasn't changed 2 more times, and it actually, it appears the law was not changed. That everything was such chaos that Hitler or Himmler or whoever was sending down the rules or whatever just decided, they just got away with all the murdering and killing and castrating and doing all this stuff that wasn't actually written in the law.
Yeah, it was like they explained it in the movie. They were gay, but they were still German, so they were not killed immediately or tortured like in the way they tortured the Jews and burned them. But they were they worked like slaves, well, as others did too. But they did surgeries on them to experiment, and they have,
Well, let me understand something here now, because you kind of draw a line there, a distinction between they were Germans and not Jews. But weren't those Jewish people, some of those Jewish people, that they were born in Germany, weren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing, because there were Jewish people, and there are Jewish people now, and they are Germans, and they were Germans. But Hitler, in his ideology, he separated them. He said, no, they are Jews, and they can't be Germans. They are not Germans. They are Jews. They are the enemies. They try to weaken our nation. So that's the great mistake. What they some people do it also now, and I don't speak of German people. For example, if you think of Israel, you think that's a country, and some people say, well, Jews are like a people, and in fact they are a people, but a religious people, a religious community, but they are not. Well, there are Jews in America, in I don't know where, in Germany, in France, and yeah, but I think some people are influenced from history and think that when you're talking about Jewish people, you're talking about Israel, stuff like that. So that Jews would be kind of a nation, and that's wrong.
No, because like you say, yeah, they're all over the world.
Yeah, in the city where I live, we have a Jewish community, and yeah, they're German.
I mean, he wasn't prosecuting Christians.
No, he didn't. Or, in fact, not in the same way as he prosecuted Jewish people.
Right.
And, in fact, well, Hitler was not the first to prosecute the Jewish people. Also, there's a long line in history. Also, in medieval ages, they prosecuted Jewish people. It's a long history, but, well,
Yes, I remember seeing the movie. Oh, what was that movie? Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
You know, because they were living in Russia or Prussia or somewhere, and they got thrown out of that country.
Yeah.
The Jewish.
Yeah. And the cruel peak of all the history was then in the Second World War, but yeah.
Hitler just took it to a new level. It was already same thing happening, sort of. They were getting pushed around everywhere.
Yeah. And the thing I'd like to add to the history about the paragraph is that I explained that it was repealed in the late 90s, but if you I was born in the early I think it's like 1982, so there was still the paragraph, but it didn't affect my life because it was, as I said, they had the same rights as heterosexuals. So if you didn't read about it, you didn't know about it because it didn't affect your life, and you didn't get any problems. And also the young people during the first gay movement after the Second World War, they said in the early 70s, well, I think that the paragraph doesn't exist anymore just because it was they had the same age limit as heterosexuals. So it didn't affect the life of gay people that much, but I think it's quite important to know that it was still in the books, and it sends a message. Also, if it doesn't affect the illegal situation, it sends a message if you know that it's written down in the criminal law that you are different because you're homosexual.
Right, and it's still that way. It's still two different laws, one for heterosexuals and one for homosexuals.
Yeah, well, not today, but till 1994 it was.
Okay. And one thing I always like to point out, too, since we already went to this point, that this paragraph 175 was in effect prior to Hitler and after, these people were emancipated, after they were removed from these concentration camps and everything by the troops saving them. All the homosexuals, everyone else was set free and sent on their way, but all the homosexuals were put in jail because it was still against the law.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if the prisoners were not sent free. The thing I know for sure is that if you survive concentration camp, and one of those guys in the movie says he spent over 8 years in concentration camps, and he could be sent.
They made him
again.
go in the military afterwards, I think it said.
Yeah.
But that was still during the war. That was...
Yeah. Well, those who survived concentration camps couldn't talk about it because it was still a crime during the early 70s, and so you could lose your job, or if you were accused of being gay or committed gay acts or committing gay acts, you could like lose your driving license, or if you were a teacher, you could lose your job, and so they kept it all very quiet till the gay movement, yeah,
I mean, that's
came.
one thing I was wondering because I heard a lot of the homosexual prisoners that were in the camps when they were saved, by the foreign troops coming in, that they were put in jail, and I said something sounds wrong there. I mean, that they were just automatically just boom, okay, these guys got a pink triangle, throw them in the jail over there. I mean, you would think they would have another hearing or another court case to find out if these people in fact were homosexual or if they were, just someone said they were, you know.
Yeah, I don't know for sure how they dealt with homosexuals because well, the Allied forces, when they freed the concentration camps, I don't think that they sent home the Jews and the communists and let the homosexuals stay. I think that they were free too. But from the individual point of view, I don't know how they dealt with the gay gay
Hmm.
people who were in camps or prisons.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying that in the movie either. But I do know that I've read in more than one place on the internet that they were imprisoned uh,
Yeah.
after
Or they
everyone
could
else.
still risk to get sent to prison. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. It even said that in the movie. That one gentleman, the one that was with the Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
even after the Holocaust, they said he got arrested several more times under paragraph 175 after.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because like you said, it was enforced until the 70s still, or late 60s,
Yeah.
before they even changed it. So that,
Yeah.
I mean, the war was over in what, 40, the late 40s, mid 40s, late 40s.
45, yeah.
45? Yeah, okay. So, I mean, gee, that's another 24 or 25 years or whatever that it was still on the books.
Yeah. And that's the situation where the movie starts. That it's like the historian, the guy with the glasses in the beginning, he says, well, just think of the situation for those decades where they suffered, they still suffered, and now we're coming and saying, well, please tell us your stories. Now we're interested. Now we want to listen, and yeah.
Yeah, I
So
loved it.
that's a sad situation in which he is. He is now an historian who has to, well, to get the last surviving people to talk. Yeah, and tell them that yeah, that they were treated wrong during the last decades.
Yeah, he did an amazing job. Amazing, amazing job. I just, uh, paragraph 175, that documentary is just
Yeah, I think
awesome.
it's an interesting movie. It the title is a little misleading because it doesn't give a lot of information. They give information about the history of the paragraph, but well, it's concentrated on the history during the Holocaust. And
Hmm.
when they um, when they interview the people, they explain how it was because of their homosexuality, but later on they focus more on the Holocaust in general. I think it's a very important movie because you can, well, see those people talking, and as you explained, a lot of them died since the movie was made, and yeah, so it keeps the memory alive, and it's very moving and also very strong. If it's different if you read in a book at school that so and so many people died and that Nazi people did that and that to people, as if somebody is sitting there showing you old pictures, crying because of his memories he's now refreshing,
Hmm.
and the individual history.
Yeah, I was pretty amazed by several of the stories. I mean, they all endured
Yeah.
much more than than any one person should ever endure in their life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the one gentleman that when he asked him, you know, what did you ever talk to your mother? I mean, his father
Yeah.
died. You know, that one guy when he was in the concentration camp.
Yeah, that's very moving.
You know,
He lost his father. And his father was the one and only person he could have talked to, and nobody wanted to know what happened.
right?
Well, like he said, he doesn't know why. If his mother was not interested, if she wanted him to get rid of the sad memories, he doesn't know. But he had well, like if something bad happens to you or me, we just like to tell people. We say, well, yesterday was a horrible day. This happened to me, or I'm very sad because one of my family members is ill, or whatever. You always you always want to tell somebody, and yeah, that helps. But those people who survived the Holocaust and were gay, they had no chance at all to find somebody to talk to, or yeah, to
Yep.
express their feelings. I mean, that's very sad.
Yep, and that other guy that actually went into the military because he didn't get put in one of the concentration camps. He got put in a regular jail or
But,
whatever. And and then he was asexual. He had no sex for
yeah, yeah. Well, he
20,
said
30
that
years. You know?
he only had his mother and aunts and sisters. He had no contact to men at all. And he said, well, if you wanted to get in contact to men, you had to go to the military because, well, in the military there are lots of men. And yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if
then he said they were just friends, and it also said in there that during his time in the military that he never had sex.
yeah.
Is what he said and I was like, I mean that you might as well be in solitary confinement if you can't never have sex. I mean that's
Yeah,
terrible life. You know, you can't ever have sex. You know,
yeah,
how sad. That's like that's worse than being in jail. That's a jail by itself.
yeah. Yeah, and that's why the gay movement is so important. That society got more liberal. That, well, you don't have to hide it. You don't have to build up like a kind of this prison that you can live your sexuality. That you can go out in gay bars or go out in, I don't know where, just in all day life, and find, well, a partner.
There you go. That's what
Yeah,
it is. To love who you want to love.
yeah.
You know?
I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think that's why we're on this planet. So that it's because of love. We're supposed to love, you know, everybody. You know, we're all supposed to be like one big happy family. But real, you know, a love with that one individual that's going to walk through your life with you. You know, so that you don't have to walk through life alone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
I don't know.
and you don't have to hide that anymore. That's something.
And you should, yeah, no one ever should have had to. That's the sad part. You know,
Yeah,
that's. I think it's, you know, I mean, I think that's wonderful that you're, you know, that's kind of funny, you know, because now here you are, your country's, you know, was so far behind here during the
yeah,
Nazi thing, and now it's like so far ahead. You know, it's as
yeah,
far as humanity, you
yeah.
know,
Yeah. The thing is, like, it was very good during the 20s, and it got so bad during the World War, and now it's not all perfect, but well, it's on a very good way. We have a lot of rights, and as I explained, a lot of celebrities in Germany are openly gay. It's no problem. We have hosts on television who are gay. We have, like I explained, our vice chancellor is gay, and that's no problem. Nobody would say, well, he's. Some people think that he's a bad politician, and me too. But nobody would say, well, he's gay, and that's why he's a bad politician. They say, well, he does that, and that's not good for our country, so he's a bad politician. Nobody would accuse him of being gay. So yeah, there are some differences. We don't have the same rights concerning adoption, but yeah, there's still. Also today, there are conservative members of the parliament who said no, it would affect young children if they are live with gay dads or lesbian moms. But yeah, but in general, it's yeah,
yeah, that's
it's a very
changing.
good situation. for example, me, I had only one situation in my personal life where I got into trouble because of being gay, but it was not that bad, but some people were like, calling me names, but yeah, but in general, I live a very, very good and yeah, wonderful life being gay in Germany.
Oh man, I'm jealous now.
Yeah, I'm following all the news which I can get from the US. I like, for example, Dan Savage, and yeah, and I hope that the situation there changes too. Well, I think in the big cities like New York, San Francisco, where there are big gay neighborhoods, and yeah, it's fine. But so that the society as a whole would think more, I don't know, more liberal, that those who are still doing hate speech will will stop that, and yeah, I keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so too. I live up by Seattle in
Yeah.
Washington State, not Washington D.C., the other side of the United States. But anyway, this was the first state in the United States that passed uh,
Yeah.
full marriage equality. It's called domestic partnerships, but they call it everything but marriage. In other words,
Yeah.
it's every law, the adoption, everything is the same in this state, except it's not called marriage. In Massachusetts, it's the same. It's called marriage. It doesn't make any difference if you're homosexual or heterosexual or adoption or anything. It's the same exactly. All the laws are the same in Massachusetts. So it's state by state here, and I just wish it would it would be countrywide. Instead it was. Did your country? I mean, it didn't go like province by province, did it? It was countrywide all at once, right?
It was countrywide, but it said at first that all it's a federal state, and all those small parts could decide which who you had to ask for the permission, or you had to.
Oh, really?
Oh, excuse me, it's a little difficult. You had to different administrations where you had to go to get the civil partnership, but now it's all the same, and yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
So does it apply for immigration over there too?
yeah. It's true. If you marry somebody who's not European, is not from a European country, he becomes German. He can stay in Germany.
Wow, that's so awesome. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, the thing is, because if you live or if you're a member of the European Union, you can live in all the European countries wherever you want, just
Oh,
as you
really?
like. But if you're from outside the European Union, I don't know, for example, Australian, or I don't know, then if you marry a German guy, you can become German and yeah, live in Germany as any other person too.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, well, like I said, yeah, I think it's kind of bizarre, that here just 60 years ago. I mean, it speaks to the German people. I think this speaks to the heart of the German people. Obviously, a big heart, and I don't think it's been done out of guilt, because of the Nazi thing. I think it's done out of more of a lesson learned. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's a big difference, and I think the heart. I mean, of these countries that can be so humane. So I mean, because it's a very embarrassing for me to be one of the largest countries in the world, and one of the richest countries in the world, that we're hardly ever first on humanity. I mean,
yeah. That's. I'd like to quote Dan Savage. He said one very smart sentence. He said, "Well, America always wants to be first, but in the important things they are always last. They have
yeah,
He said like he said Germany and Benazir Bhutto and stuff like that. The Great Britain, they had female chancellors or presidents, and well, yeah, Miss I forgot her, Hillary Clinton was the first woman who could possibly have been the president of the United States. For example, that, or laws concerning homosexuality. America tries or wants always to be first and the most powerful or the most important country in the world, but in fact, in the important things, they are sometimes last. Or yeah,
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, women couldn't even vote over here or own land or property or anything until after World War II.
yeah,
I think it was in the late 40s or 50s when when women received the equal rights in the United States, and then the African American, the black communities, they didn't even get their equal rights in the United
yeah,
States until the 60s. Yep.
yeah. That's
And,
sorry,
the
and I think
gays were still
yeah,
fighting.
yeah. You asked, yeah, the black movement, and we too, we had the women's movement, and I think the gay movement. It, well, they're a little bit well later. So I think at the moment things will women are equal, and well, gay people are too. But I think it's more. Yeah, it's more actual. It's more present. So some things where they are treated different are now the topic which is discussed. And so in some years, I think we'll have total equality concerning all the whole life you're living as a gay person. I hope so.
Yeah, it needs to be that way everywhere. It really does. I mean, that's it. The world needs to get over themselves. This is terrible. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
in Uganda right now. Oh, it's really terrible what's going on there.
yeah,
Where they want to kill the gays.
yeah. They have that, and yeah, or we have some very well-known gay politicians, member of the parliament, who are also or who were members of the gay movement in Germany, and they went to Poland and Russia to the street parades, to the gay parades there, and because they were beaten up there because conservative parties were had the power, and society is much more influenced by religion. They are well, yeah, more conservative, more old-fashioned, and yeah, and gays were beaten up during the parade. And one of our politicians from the Green Party, he was hit by a stone or something like that, and it was in the news and all over the papers a picture of him bleeding from his eye because he was hit. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Uh, that's such sad news. I was even ashamed. The first guy he talked to, um, I don't remember his name, but that's the only time we see him in the whole movie.
yeah,
That first guy he talked to, who had torn out all the pictures, and he
yeah.
said, "How come the pictures are missing?" And like the man was ashamed that he was homosexual. And
Yeah, and said all the pictures are standing for very sad and bad memories, and I don't want to be, or I don't want to have to think of it, and so that's why I destroyed the pictures. And he said, I don't want to talk of it, of this topic again, because I explained it once a couple of years ago, and well, I made those experiences a lot of decades ago, and now I don't want to think of it again, and that's why I don't want to talk about this topic. Yeah,
yeah, that was kind of a shock.
that's his way to get rid of the memories. He
Yeah,
don't want to refresh it again.
yeah. I mean, yeah. How painful must those memories be if you don't even want to think about it?
Yeah,
I mean, I've had two lovers in my life that have died from
yeah,
HIV, and I still, don't mind thinking about them.
yeah,
I don't want to avoid thinking about them. and but it's painful. But I don't want to avoid thinking about it. So I mean, I have the pain of two loves that I've lost. And his pain is much more, and I can't imagine the pain being so great. That it's like that you can
Yeah.
dismiss it and dismiss who you are. So I mean, this man was obviously felt like me, like he was ashamed that he was homosexual.
Well,
Still,
I don't know if he still was ashamed now of being homosexual, but I think yeah, the that his torture was so big, and yeah, that he just want to get rid of those memory. He doesn't want to talk of it again. And I think, well, perhaps he was a little bit ashamed, and yeah, because it's well, it deals with your sexuality, and people of that age, straight or gay, they're a generation who doesn't talk like we now talk about sexuality. Young people,
oh right,
they're straight or gay. Sexuality is like more open. You see, I don't know, Sex in the City and television and movies. Sex is everywhere. Yeah, like I don't know, yeah, singers and stuff like that. People from the pop industry, and those who lived in during the war, they were not. Yeah, they were told not to talk about sexuality. It was a very private thing. So I think if they were asked to speak about what they experienced, they know that it's also a very delicate topic because it's sex, and you don't talk about sex.
yeah, I can see that now.
Now we are talking about our private life. You said that you lost two lovers, and yeah, I spoke of what I was experiencing, but yeah, that's because we were raised different, Alex.
Yeah, I think it's because I don't know. I mean, the word, I guess, in one word would be transparency. I think that's the big thing people want to know. People don't want to.
Yeah,
You shouldn't be hiding. And it's kind of like in the education. That's why I asked you about, did you learn about this in school? I'm so glad you talked to a teacher and asked. Because there's still schools here in the United States where they are not teaching about homosexuals in the Holocaust. And I know that for a fact because I have this show, Homosexuals in the Holocaust, that I air all the time. The podcast is available all the time. I'm constantly getting messages from people saying, I never knew there was homosexuals in the Holocaust.
yeah.
You
And the
know?
thing is, I think that it's important to be curious. That well, it is taught at schools, but that's something different. I have a lot of friends or people I spend time with who were not homophobic, not at all, but they didn't know a lot about homosexuality because they were straight. Sometimes they ask, well, who's the woman in your partnership? Like they didn't mean it in a mean way, but they were just not informed. They said, no, we are gay. We're two men. I'm gay. That means that I love men, and or
You know
yeah,
how I answer when people
they,
ask me that? I tell them, what day of the week is it?
yeah,
Because it might be different answer.
yeah. And one friend of mine, he's straight. He thought that there's only one sexual position you can have during intercourse. I said, well, what do you think about? And yeah, he's a very clever, smart, educated man, but he's straight, so obviously he never had sex with another man, so he doesn't know about it. And I was very happy that he was curious, that he came to me and asked about it. He doesn't have to be gay. That's okay. It's okay to
Right.
be straight, but
Yeah.
I think it's good if straight people are interested, if they're yeah, if they when they have questions that they just ask.
And that's a very awesome message because, you shouldn't get offended by the question. You should be honored that they're even asking,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, because I think that's important.
Yeah, because they don't understand or they wouldn't be asking. So you can't You can't expect them to be politically correct or anything because they don't understand. You know,
Yeah.
you have to explain to them. You know, you know, that I don't because so many people like would get offended. You know, well, what do you only have one sex position when you have sex with your girlfriend? I mean, what do
Yeah.
you think? We're that different?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah, some
Yeah.
people get very upset, and that doesn't help.
Yeah.
You know?
Or there's one thing which is what I didn't tell you, and which is in fact really bad. In Germany, you're as a gay man, you're not allowed to donate blood. So because they think,
Oh,
well,
really?
you could have AIDS, or gays are very have a very high risk of
Hi.
having
Yeah.
the virus. So you're not allowed to donate blood. You have to fill out like a sheet, and there's a question if you're homosexual, and if you don't make your cross there and give your blood, it's like it's not a crime, but it's forbidden. So you're not allowed to give blood. And my straight friends didn't know that. They said, "Well, today I'm going to donate blood." I said, "Well, I would, but I'm not allowed." They said, "What? You're not allowed to donate blood? Why? Are you sick or stuff like that?" I said, "No, because I'm gay, and gays are not allowed to donate blood." And they didn't know that. And so I think that's important to tell them where there are still differences, and and that they ask. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still to this day here. It's the same way, and it wasn't so long ago. I was under the exact same situation where I was at a place. I was actually going to a technical school, and they had
Yeah.
a blood mobile come to the school, and all the class was going to give blood. And I said, "How come you're not coming?" I said, "Gays aren't allowed to give blood."
Yeah.
And he said, "No way." And I said, "Yeah, you wait till you answer. They're going to give you a little questionnaire. It's going to ask you on there if you're gay."
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wouldn't matter with me anyway because I had hepatitis A when I was in my 20s. So
Yeah.
I couldn't give blood anyway because of that.
Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. Now they built the memorial in Berlin now, right near evidently where there's they buried a lot of the Jewish homosexual victims there, and then they have a memorial there for the homosexual victims of the Holocaust as well now, right?
Yeah, there's a very large monument for the Jewish people who died, and then there is the monument for the gay people, and there are two others in Cologne and Frankfurt, and well the the one in Berlin is follows the idea of the German Parliament. It was like the German Parliament who decided now it's time to build up this monument.
That's so cool. I remember when they first built it.
Yeah.
The one where they have the little kissing movie inside where you look through the hole or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they first built that, I spoke about it on the show, and I got a really terrible message from a Jewish man
Yeah.
telling me that monument should never be built. That the homosexual community didn't suffer enough or anywhere near the Jewish community. It's like he was weighing the difference. Like how dare
Yeah.
anybody, say that the Holocaust was about anybody else? Like it was only about the Jewish, and he didn't
Yeah.
like the fact that they. Oh man, I read lots of articles about it and got an email. I thought I couldn't believe that. You know.
Yeah. I think I don't want to offend anybody, but I think it doesn't make a difference. You can weigh it. It doesn't get better if you just killed 100 gays, but tens of thousands Jews, for example. Yeah. It's a fact that there were a lot of more Jews being killed during the war and tortured and stuff like that. And it's very sad and very cruel. But if you see it from the individual point of view, if you go to a mother who lost her Jewish child in the war, and you're going to a mother who lost a gay son during the war, do you think there would be a difference? They had a terrible loss.
Hmm.
Yeah. This will, from the individual point of view, it doesn't make a difference. If you count the numbers, well, that's sure it makes a difference. But I don't know, or I don't believe that you can weigh it and make a difference. It doesn't get worse or better if you change the numbers.
Right. And even if you look at it from another viewpoint on the numbers, which is how I responded to the gentleman, I told him, I said, well, if you consider the fact that according to people like you, who are obviously a bigot, that the gay people are only maybe 2% of the population, and Jewish people, are maybe, 20% of the population. It's like they're 10 times more Jews as there is gay people, and if you look at it that way, and the numbers get a little bit closer,
Yeah.
because there's 10 times as many Jews, so that means, 10 times as many Jews could be killed than gays to have the same effect on that community.
Yeah, that's it. The Jewish communities and the Jewish life was eradicated, and gay life was also tore down. Like they showed it in the movie. During the 20s, they had the bars, the clubs and stuff, and all that disappeared. Yeah, that's sad. And murder is still a murder, whether you kill somebody because of his religion or of his sexual identity. It's still a murder. So I think, yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And like you say, the better point is the first point you made. It doesn't make any difference if the mother lost a child. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a Jewish child or a gay child or a black child or a blue child or whatever.
Yeah.
That mother's pain is going to be just as bad.
Yeah.
So you can't measure, that human suffering that way. One is one too many.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's if it's not right, it's not right. It doesn't make any difference if you try to put icing over the top of it. The cake still tastes bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, Andy, this has been. I'm trying to think. Let me look back at my notes. Are we missing anything?
I don't know. I think we spoke about all the things you. Well, it's perhaps not everything you should know about the paragraph, but I too do recommend to see the movie or to go and listen to your podcast. And yeah, it's a very moving history which is told there, and it's a very important part also of gay history. And yeah, I think it's very very important that this movie was made. And yeah.
Oh, I think it's so awesome, especially now when I look back at it and see that, they're all gone now. So that if Klaus would have, because Klaus in the beginning of the movie, he says, well, I'm a little bit slow, so it took me many years to realize, hey, there might still be homosexual Holocaust survivors alive.
Yeah. When they had the ceremony for the monument in Berlin, they had also one survivor speaking, but it must have been one of the last few because it was the beginning of the new millennium.
Yeah, I mean, because there were two in the beginning of the movie. It says there were two that actually refused to even speak for the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's and Gad Beck. I mean, he has his own website now, gadbeck.de.
Yeah.
I think I emailed you that he's making a little video. I think he wants to sell a little movie now, make a little money. He's funny. He is funny. Gad Beck is funny.
But I think, yeah, he's a funny person. I hope that everybody who listens to the podcast or listens to the show got answers to his questions, and if not, well, I think they can get in contact with you over Skype and send you some questions. And if there's some questions about Germany and the situation of gays in Germany in general, or perhaps some more details missing to the history of the paragraph, then I think they can send you the questions, and you will contact me, and so we can provide any information which should be missing. Yeah.
Oh, what a sweetheart, Andy. Okay, folks, there you we're going to have to hold him to the flame now. Yeah, Andy offered. So if you have any questions, send them to me, Tom at queerpublicradio.com, or just go to queerpublicradio.com. You'll see there's a button up there that says contact. You can contact me that way if you so desire, and anonymously, quite frankly, if you want to. You can just put a fake email address up there, whatever you want to do. And if you got a question you want to ask that we need to dig in on, then let me know, and I'll forward it to Andy, and we can discuss it on some future date or something.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
All right, I'm going through the notes here to make sure we didn't miss nothing here. We got a lot of notes. Boy, I sent you. We sent a lot of emails here in the last little.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I think I didn't miss anything I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
I did a lot of work. My thesis is about 170 pages long, and it's a lot of details and a lot of information. And I thought I pick out some of the most interesting facts, and I can't present the whole thing, but I think that should be the most important facts.
That's a book. 170 pages. That's a book.
Yeah.
That's people selling 170-page books for $19.95 over on Amazon.com.
Yeah, perhaps. Well, we'll see. Perhaps it will be published, and then you can be sure I'll send you the Amazon link.
Okay, and we'll get it to everybody, and then everyone go buy Andy's book.
But perhaps in some years you can buy my doctoral thesis, and so then I have to publish this, or I have to publish this, and at least then you can buy it.
Oh, let me throw the phone number out real quick. We'll just give people a couple minutes in case there's anyone that wants to call in. There might be someone out there that's just been waiting for us to say this, and here, they're probably saying, "Will you two stop talking and let us call in?" You could, right? You could Skype call me. Gay Talk Radio is our name on Skype. It's Gay Talk Radio. That's all stuck together like it's one word. If you're in the United States, you can call the phone number 301 Talk Gay. 301 Talk Gay. Did I say that right? It is 301. Oh, goodness gracious. Don't tell me I said the phone number wrong. Let me double check. I'm getting dyslexia now for a minute. Where's my contact? Make sure. I'm pretty sure it's 301. Double check. Oh, I don't have it there. Goodness gracious.
I call you, but I'm in Europe, so that's the thing.
Yeah, that's a long call for you.
Andy's it will be quite expensive.
No, your Skype's better.
Yeah.
It looks like it is 301. 301.
Yeah, just in case, call in.
Yep, or you can chat on Queer Public Radio. So we'll give you all just a minute or two, and because Andy wants to go partying or something. We're holding him up. He's a young man. He's got to go partying.
Yeah. You listen. I forgot to put my telephone on mute, so somebody was calling me. They're waiting for me, but I'm patient, and so I'll wait if anybody has, if somebody has any question, I'll be there. It's not too late in Germany, so I have a lot of time left to spend the night.
Yeah, what's it about? 10:45 p.m. there,
Quarter
right?
to 11, yes.
Yeah, almost 11 p.m. I mean, all his friends are at the bar going, "Where's Andy?"
I think they'll understand that.
Well, yeah, you can tell them, "Hey, I'm in demand. I was on an international radio show."
Yeah.
All right, Andy. Well, we'll let you go. If they can't call in by now, they're too slow, and then they can just call another time, and then they can email or contact me with your questions, and we'll do this again sometime. Andy's a cool guy.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll do that.
So you have fun, Andy. And what I'm going to do after this, after you leave, I think I'm going to play that clip from Miss Eck, the lesbian.
Yeah.
The clip I found of her, the last, that clip that was made after the movie, paragraph 175. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that on the end here. If I have time, I'll see. Oh, no. It's too long. It'll run over. Oh, sorry, folks. You'll have to get that from gablogheadlines.com. But, Andy, you go have a good evening, and thank you for spending time with me.
Well, thank you for letting me be part of your show. Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, anytime. You ever want to be on or whatever, and just let me know. I'm here for you, man.
Okay, fine.
You take care. Tell all your friends. Tom said hi from the United States.
I'll do so. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Andy. Thanks. Have fun. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. And that was Andy from Germany. Just a really, really cool guy. I mean, I really enjoyed speaking with him. That was awesome. Andy's awesome. Very intelligent young man for sure. Of course, I'm impressed by anyone who knows more than one language. That just impresses the hell out of me. That's one of the things that just really impressed me. So I got to thank Andy for spending time with us, and I thank you for spending time with us. Thank you very much, folks, for being with us here on this Gay Talk, very special edition. It's always nice having wonderful people with us. It really is. So all the best to you and yours. Got to remind you once again, as I always do at the end of every single show, that we are all one human family, that every single one of us are brothers and sisters. And all I do is ask very simply that you love your brothers and sisters, and hope you have a great weekend as well.
I love you, and you, and you. Oh, and you too. And don't forget him. I love her, and him, and her, and him, and him, and her. I love you all.
Adios. Have a nice trip. Bon voyage. Farewell to thee. That's all, folks.
We'll leave the light on for you.